You ever wondered what's inside your canned food? Jessica failed to consider this when she ate canned corn about 5 years ago on May 9th, 2005. At only 33 years old, she never imagined living a life with respiratory difficulties and muscle weakness. It was a normal day in Houston, Texas, and after a long day at work, Jessica stopped at the grocery store to pick up corn and chicken to make herself a nice home-cooked meal. Only 22 hours later, when she was at the mall with a friend, she noticed her mouth was beginning to feel dry and she was having difficulty swallowing. Thinking she might be having an allergic reaction to the food she ate for lunch, she decided to grab some water and sit down for a little while, hoping her symptoms would pass. 30 minutes later, when she stood up to begin shopping again, she noticed her legs felt shaky. An hour later, as the muscle weakness got worse, she thought she must be tired and decided to call it a day. On the way home from the mall, Jessica knew something wasn't quite right. She began to have blurred, double vision and barely made it home without causing an accident. Her friend followed her inside to make sure she would be okay. But after walking through the doorway, Jessica keeled over, clutching her stomach with horrendous abdominal pain. The friend assisted Jessica to the car and rushed her to the emergency room. By the time they arrived at the hospital, Jessica was too weak to get out of the car. The doctors performed an electromyogram, and when they received the test results, they decided further investigation of Jessica's condition was definitely necessary. An electromyogram is a test that measures the electrical activity of a muscle or group of muscles by hooking electrodes to the muscle through the skin and having the patient move the muscle. It detects abnormal electrical muscle activity due to diseases and neuromuscular conditions.
When the test results showed impaired muscle action, along with her previous symptoms, and now drooping eyelids and slurred speech, the doctor suspected she had a case of foodborne botulism. The next step was a test for botulism toxin in Jessica's stool. It turned out their suspicions were correct. Jessica was suffering with an intoxication of Clostridium botulinum. The doctor questioned Jessica. She had eaten canned vegetables within the past 36 hours. She then remembers the corn she had eaten for dinner the previous evening.
Botulism is a rare illness caused by the bacteria Clostridium botulinum, which is found in soil, water, and food. There are 4 types of botulism: foodborne, infant, wound, and an unknown type that continues to be investigated. Botulism produces 7 neurotoxins: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. However, type A is the most potent and dangerous. It is contracted by consuming, ingesting, or coming in contact with the bacteria. Since C. botulinum is found in soil, marine sediments, or on the surfaces of fruits and vegetables, each type is contracted differently. Foodborne botulism occurs when someone eats canned foods that are contaminated with the bacteria because they have not been stored or processed correctly. The genes encoding toxin production are carried on a prophage, so only phage-carrying strains of C. botulinum produce toxin. Because botulism is a form of food poisoning, it's an intoxication, not an infection. Bacterial cells do not multiply inside the body.
Jessica was fortunate that the doctors caught her case early enough, so her symptoms only included double and blurred vision, difficulty swallowing, dry mouth, drooping eyelids, and muscle weakness.
In adults, botulinum toxin first affects nerves that control the head. The result is double vision and also a difficulty with speaking and swallowing. Later, other muscles, including those that control breathing, may become paralyzed.
Jessica's body did not undergo any muscular or respiratory paralysis. Her treatment was minimal. She was forced to vomit to rid her body of contaminated leftover food and was injected with an antitoxin that prevented the botulism toxin from harming her. If she had waited and let the symptoms worsen, the outcome for Jessica may have been very different. She could have experienced muscle or respiratory paralysis, resulting in specialized treatment of the use of a ventilator, respiratory therapy, or physical therapy. Her treatment could have lasted anywhere from several weeks to several months, and difficulty breathing could have lasted up to several years. In the worst-case scenario, Jessica could have even died. The average fatality rate of a person with botulism is 15%. If the patient is 60 years or older, the fatality rate doubles to 30%. When victims are fortunate enough to survive, they will most likely experience significant negative effects for many years after contracting the illness. An investigation was carried out at Jessica's house to find the culprit can. It turned out that the Green Giant Company was responsible for the underprocessed food due to faulty machinery. The company was contacted and a recall was issued for any cans of corn that were produced around the date of May 9th. Jessica still experiences minor breathing difficulties and muscle weakness. She is grateful that her case of botulism was not as horrific as it could have been.